See, my prediction right now is that you're going to see it's under Kyokushin rules, so the Kyokushin guy is going to do well. And I have something to say about that. We have a kick from the Muay Thai dude right here. It's a lefty versus righty duel right now. You see, and this is kind of what I expected to a degree, right? There's no punches to the head. You can tell there's no punches to the head because nobody's actually throwing any punches to the head right now. There's been more than enough openings, you know, and it's mostly a kicking battle with some punches being thrown to the body. And I always have a bit of an issue with this stuff. You know, well, I'll explain after. Oh, hey, nice spinning back kick. You see, Kyokushin guy is keeping a pace that the Muay Thai guy is having a little bit of trouble with. Kick, another kick by the Muay Thai guy. Not really having much of an effect though. Oh, hey, kick from Muay Thai guy. He framed to get back out. Another kick from Muay Thai guy. There's a hard shot to the body from Muay Thai guy, followed by another kick. And here we had what I would assume, well, I mean, I don't even have to assume. That was just an illegal punch. Or maybe even an elbow. Who knows, right? We'll see. We'll see. It looks like you see his right arm come out like this, like he was trying to frame. And then the way his body moves, it looks like maybe he threw a short hook. But I couldn't even tell you, you know. All I know is that this guy is, you know, like, ow, my head. What's this wannabe ref trying to explain? Like, hey, don't end up on the outside. Oh, hey, there's a punch straight to the head. And that was very interesting. This is one of those flashy techniques that people immediately want to learn when they first start MMA, right? You're going to see he throws the kick, and before the kick is even back to the ground, he uses the opposing force, the opposing weight, right? The adjustment of putting the kick back onto the ground to torque his body into a cross right down the middle. And you're going to see it. Bang, bang. Oy. I have a bit of an issue with these kinds of fights and things like that. It's fun to see Kyokushin go against other forms of either karate or even just martial art in general, you know, Kyokushin versus Muay Thai and stuff like that. But the issue I have with a lot of these Kyokushin fights and stuff like that is that it's all under a rule set that is a little bit more realistic than just point sparring and things like that, but it's still not realistic enough to actually match what a real fight is. You see the size difference between these two guys, and you're also going to see the difference in rule sets, the difference in skills under the rule set that is allowed. Oh, yeah, nice spinning kick. Nice axe kick. That's pretty impressive. But again, you're doing it to an underclassman right now. These guys are not the same weight. You can see the size difference right now. And then on top of that, to further make it unfair, you're forcing this guy who is trained since he was 8 years old to fight in a certain rule set to not fight in that rule set, you know? Oh, hey. And you see there, that's literally what happened in the last match, where the Muay Thai dude threw a kick to the body and then followed up with a cross to the head. And you see how Andy's first reaction is not to just keep on going. You see how it's, oh, right? I think at the end of the day, Andy Hug's probably tough enough as to where he didn't have to be like, oh, but it was a rule break. And the gamesmanship that's going to be allowed here is that if you get hit in the head, you get to be like, ooh, that's smarts, ow. I need a little bit of a second to rest. This is exactly the kind of thing you see in the Olympics too, where like you'll see point sparring in karate or taekwondo or something, and a dude will get knocked out and he will still be declared the winner because it's against the rules to knock somebody out. So the guy who just lost consciousness in front of thousands of people, potentially even a million, he is now getting his hand raised. He might not even know where he's at. You see, like, it's really cool to see. Those are some cool fucking kicks. I appreciate what's going on here insofar as seeing the stylistic differences. But this is one of the ways Kyokushin and karate in general, but specifically Kyokushin, tries to cook the books in its favor, you know? And you see another punch to the head. The reason why this is happening is because Andy is taking advantage of Kang Puek's inability to cope with this rule set. He's not thinking. He's just going bang. Right? It's not that he's actually trying to break the rules. It's that he has trained for his entire life to target the head when somebody's hands are down and they're moving forward. He's not just going to be able to not do that. It's not going to work out that well for him, right? It's one thing to sit here and be like, well, I mean, when it comes to karate, specifically Kyokushin, and anything that derives from Kyokushin, yeah, you can start training punches to the head, but it's kind of like judo, where why would you do that? If what you're doing in the highest form of competition in that style is going to require you to punch the body and not the head, why are you going to practice punching the head? It's just, you're just not going to do it. At least the vast majority of people are not going to do it. And then in addition to that, if you're not doing it, you're going to end up like what happens with this girl right here. So a bunch of punches to the titties, some kicks to the hips, and she's getting hit in the face. Now, you notice those kicks probably don't feel great, and she started punching to the head, but do you see how long it took her to start punching to the head? She had to eat a couple of shots herself, right? There's a certain quality to this right now where it's like she doesn't even really 100% know what she's doing. And I guarantee you she probably did some kind of Kyokushin or something like that, because the way she throws her stuff looks like she's throwing Kyokushin type kicks you would typically see in karate. Let's go ahead and look at this back. And then in addition to that, she was exclusively throwing to the body. Even when she was getting hit in the head, she went with what she knew. Not because she decided to, but that's because that's what she's been training forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And she is just immediately going to resort back to that without thinking about it, because it's muscle memory. You can see, right? You see how she's like, what is this doing? She hits her a few times in the head. The reason why I'm harping on this, right, is because, for one thing, it's annoying to see Kyokushin guys, even as somebody who trains a form of karate that is descended from Kyokushin, it's annoying to see Kyokushin guys try and be like, rah, rah, our stuff works even against Muay Thai. It's like, yeah, something, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree. But then, on top of that, when you take Kyokushin out of the Kyokushin box and put it into any other fucking box, all of a sudden you're having a bit of a hard time. Even against somebody who isn't trained, you're not putting them down the way that you're supposed to. And they're not even respecting your power. It matters also because when you're in a street fight, right? When you're in a street fight, it's not about winning on points. It's not about trying to look good. It's not about anything other than trying to make sure that you get out of there as quickly as you possibly can. And in certain cases, that means you have to seriously try to do damage to somebody. You have to break a jaw. You have to kick them in a way that their leg is going to swell up, and there's going to be an overwhelming sense of pain because of the cumulative damage, right? It's not just like, oh, I hit you in the forehead with my knuckle right here and it hurt a little bit. It's like, no, my body is damaged and the pain from the damage is way too fucking much to handle, right? That's what you need. And Kyokushin, unfortunately, does not train in that way, in the way that they probably should.